Just found out my ex from years ago and his current wife have infertility issues, and all I could think was that's what they get. Trigger warning. The following talk you're about to hear contains mention of rape, sexual assault, and miscarriage. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Hello there and welcome. I'd like to thank you for being here.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You are most welcome. So, do you know why you're here?
I'm afraid I do. I'm going to relate my story, my testimony, and my experience with a bad ex.
Indeed. I'd like to applaud you and express you my absolute respect and support. That thing is something deplorable that no woman and no man should have to go through.
I appreciate your words, and I thank you for the invitation.
You bet. Alright, first things first. I'd like you to mention in a nutshell what your story entails. Let's give this talk a title based on your experience. What happened?
Well, I just found out that my ex from years ago and his current wife have infertility issues, and all I could think was that's what they get.
Wow, now that's a title. I'm interested in knowing a little bit more. Do tell us. Let's do a story time.
Oh my, this will be a roller coaster, but let's do it.
Indeed. Please proceed.
Oh my, this will be a roller coaster, but let's do it. A friend of mine suggested I get this off my chest. Here's the post in TrueOffMyChest. I know, I sound like an asshole. Well, I'm 29 and I'm a girl. I had an ex through high school and some of college. During a relationship, I fell pregnant and ended up having a miscarriage when I was 18. The very same day I miscarried, he made me have sex with him because he was stressed and griping. I fell into depression after that, and many times between then and when I found out he was cheating on me, he would me have sex with him when I would beg him to stop. He was also physically abusive most of our relationship, and I know I should have left, but I truly did not know any better at the time. He ended up marrying the girl he was cheating on me with, and I ended up marrying someone years later, and we have 3 amazing kids and a 4th on the way. Recently, a mutual friend from the past resurfaced, and we shared it away, and they revealed to me that my ex and his wife are suffering with infertility and have had no success with IVF. Something in me feel like it was lifted after hearing my friend tell me that, like it was some type of karma that was finally paid, but I immediately feel guilty for having that feeling. I talked to my husband, and he said that considering everything and I endured during that relationship, he isn't surprised by my reaction to the news. Not sure why, but it's just a bit heavy on my chest, on my conscience. That's what happened, and it's straight to the point. No need to summarize.
Oh my goodness, that's sick and twisted! Like you said before, that's not only a bad boyfriend, that's straight up sexual assault.
I'd never given them a second thought until now.
I'm serious, it is, even if you may not have perceived it that way. It was just that, and I'm absolutely speechless. Alright, here's some coffee for you.
absolutely. Thanks for having me.
After that, let's listen to the audience's questions. Yes, sir, you go first.
Thank you. I will say this. Don't feel guilty. Your ex is an evil man, and evil people don't make good parents. The universe doing everything to stop him from procreating with the new wife speaks volumes. The universe is working on natural selection all on its own.
Oh yeah, absolutely, my friend. To that I'll say that I agree to an extent with you. Normally I shy away from people saying the universe is doing stuff or conspiring, which is nonsense, nincompoop and absolute bullshit, absolute BS. However, I will absolutely validate your point for her sake, you know, for OP's sake. We all are rejoicing on the suffering of the ex. Your ex is a rapist and an abuser. I'm so glad he doesn't have any kids. And I do feel bad for his current victim though. I hope she gets away someday and gets safe, because no one deserves abuse, and abusers don't change. I'm glad you found a good partner, and I hope you're healing. I'm sorry you went through that.
I'm glad it helped you in some small way. I wouldn't feel bad. Some are just not meant to be parents. Oh, by the way, I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, my husband's parents emotionally neglected both him and his sister. When confronted with this information, they said only, "Well, it's how we were raised." His parents also had about 7 miscarriages, besides him and his sister. I honestly don't think it's a coincidence. I have something to add. That is tremendously hurtful. There are plenty of people who are or would be great parents and have also experienced multiple miscarriages. Often people wonder what they have done to deserve it. They don't need to hear that bullshit from poorly thought out comments on Reddit too. I'd also like to add something. I'm validating what you feel, dear. Don't feel bad for him. I'm glad he's not procreating as well. I had 5 miscarriages before I had my 3 children. I probably should not have opened this thread at all. I wish nothing but happiness for Ob, and I hope her ex's current victim can find peace, healing, and freedom too. As a side note, October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. For those who have suffered this type of loss, be kind to yourself.
No, he wasn't having sex with you. He was raping you. Even if you're in a relationship and you say no, it's rape. It's rape. If you're saying no but then say yes, just to get them to shut up and get it over with, it's rape. Not fully consenting to any sexual activity is rape and sexual abuse. And if this were an ordinary YouTube video, there's no way this would get monetized. No matter, things have to be called out by their names, so they can be disapproved and properly rejected, then attacked.
You feel that way because you're a good person and don't wish ill on others? I, on the other hand, am not as good as a person, so fuck that guy with the rusty chainsaw sideways. That's just nature's way of saying, this is the end of your gene pool, asshole. It's his comeuppance, karma, the universe, Mother Nature, Gaia, but it's not you. No reason to feel bad.
It is absolutely normal to privately briefly enjoy the misfortune of someone who let you down and mistreated you. That now you feel guilty for having these thoughts proves you're not an asshole. Forget it and move on.
You're 100% right on this one. It's natural to not wish good things on bad people. This guy demonstrated that he was a bad, manipulative guy with no concern for anyone else's well-being. The girl got with a cheater. He's probably cheating on her. She's probably better off without having his kids, and the sooner she realizes it, the better.
Don't feel bad for feeling the way you feel. He sexually assaulted you, physically and mentally abused you, and she cheated with someone that was taken. She had to know. It is horrific. He forced you to have sex right after a miscarriage. This might make me a terrible person, But be thankful you had that miscarriage and aren't tied to that evil jerk still. Neither of them deserve children, and you're right. Karma is making them pay for being terrible people. Enjoy your life with your wonderful husband and beautiful kids.
You have absolutely nothing to feel guilty about. You had what is a natural reaction to somebody hearing about somebody else's misfortune, and then you immediately feel guilty. That proves your humanity is intact, and you've got nothing to worry about. That being said, your ex-boyfriend is an asshole in the extreme, and what he did to you in the past was obviously disgusting. I can only say that nature is making sure that this man does not procreate, because I cannot imagine what kind of a horrible parent he would be. Love your 3 children, enjoy your husband, and treasure the time as you carry your 4th, and think not of your ex any longer. He's not worth the space in your mind or your time in any way.
Now I'd like to provide a little story time similar to your experience. Someone I know, I won't say her name, fell pregnant with a fling and had an abortion, and this was before she dated her abusive ex. She was young and was a recovering addict, so she was living a sober living. She said to me that she wasn't in the right place to care for a child. She told her abusive ex that, then the ex and her started dating. She was truthful and honest about having an abortion because it was something that continues to make her sad. He claimed he understood, but as time went on, he would throw it in her face that because she had been an addict, she was no longer fertile and couldn't make a baby. One day she had enough and told him that she was able to get pregnant, and he knew it. If they can't produce a child, it's clearly his fault. Suddenly he is so hurt by that and saying that she knows how sensitive the ex, him, is about that. Whatever. They eventually broke up, and she eventually got together with a new guy. They fell pregnant, but unfortunately she suffered a miscarriage after a bad car accident. The fact that she was able to get pregnant again still feels like a bit of a win for her. She thought maybe it's childish of her to think that way, which I assured her she wasn't. But it's finally like, ha! I told you you were the issue.
About your ex. Unfortunately, unless you know definitely how he got together with this girl, there is no way to know if she was aware that he was cheating. She maybe is a completely innocent person involved with your abusive narcissistic ex. Infertility is usually more heartbreaking for the women.
She was my friend for years and told me it was a good thing I miscarried, so they didn't have to deal with me from the next 18 years. When I comforted her about her cheating with him, she didn't care. She saw it as a competition, but after some months she called me crying because she found out her was paying escorts, prostitutes for sex, and was paying for girls' nudes and videos. I support her and help her because I understood that heartache. But once they were back on good terms, she went back to her wall. He picked me over you. So I just moved on from that part of my life. I've never given them a second thought until now.
Oh my god. Woo! This is just... Ooh, wow. Woo! This is so eye-opening and thought-provoking. I'm completely speechless. Ooh, this is so eye-opening and thought-provoking. I'm completely speechless. And I must say I agree with the commenters. This was rape. This was sexual abuse. I feel uncomfortable saying those words, but I must say it, and I must say it, and call it for what it is. I'll tell you that you don't have to feel bad for rejoicing over the fact that this terrible, awful, spineless, narcissistic jerk is going through some hard times. All the contrary, you should be glad karma is doing its thing. Glad this is no karma Houdini we're talking about. Well, we are going to wrap this up. Vamos a cerrar esto, no sin antes agradecerte por venir. No sabes cuánto significa para nosotros que estés aquí y que compartas tu historia. Y que compartas tu experiencia y tu historia. Let's hear one more. Usted allá, amigo, lo escuchamos. We hear you now. Take it away.
Es cosa de todo ser humano, ciertas actitudes, maneras de expresar cómo uno se siente ante ciertas personas. Y más cuando tuvimos esa relación, cuando ha sido una persona muy cercana a nosotros, cuando nos han decepcionado. Sin embargo, es de todo ser humano el perdonar, ya que de esa manera es como libramos esa mala energía que tal vez no esté transmitiendo el sentir rencor, desilusión y muchos sentimientos que no nos hacen bien. Es por eso que tienes que desearle lo mejor a esa persona, aun cuando haya sido o actuado de mal forma hacia ti. You went through so much and came out stronger with a beautiful family, so it makes sense that you feel some sense of justice for the hurt he caused you. Don't be too hard on yourself for how you feel. It's okay to have those reactions. Just remember, you deserve to feel at peace after everything.
Amigo, my friend, Vinir, Ami, Drugoi. Those words were so spot on, beautiful, and they are the perfect way to close this. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, OP. Thanks for being here.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me.